In the swamp, chomping all day long. Saturday nights in Death Valley, that tiger strong. So we Razorbacks, crowd calling the hogs. Blue Reds battle Wildcats, bringing the dogs. Show me Miss Zoe, black and gold fight. Boomer sooner running on a Saturday night. Hook 'em horns, burnt orange in the sun. 12th man standing, Aggies get it done. Saturday lights, y'all know the deal. SC pride, we keep it real from the swamp to the grove. Let that crowd roll. It's water cooler talk, we talk that score. Saturday lights, y'all know the deal. SC pride, we keep it real from the swamp to the grove. Let that crowd roll. It's water cooler talk, we talk that score.
Welcome to this presentation of Water Cooler Talk Sports.
Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's your guy, Nick Frazier. We are here around the water cooler tonight, man. We appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us, man. Might be doing this from solo tonight, man, but we appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us, man. Oh, man. We still gonna have a good time, though. We still gonna have a good conversation, man. If you want to hop in, just hop in with me in the conversation if that's what you want to do. But tonight we're gonna talk about coaches. But before we get into it, do me a favor, man. Make sure you go subscribe to these YouTube channels, man. Subscribe to our guys at It's SEC Season when I got Tiz, man, at Tight Sports and Alabama Football Mega Cast. Shout out to DC Wolf over at Auburn _Addicts TV. I got Dustin over at the Uptempo Podcast, man. Be sharp over at Sharpshooter Sports Talk. Go to Broom Podcast and the Anchor Down Live Podcast with our guy Vandy Chris at the Huggy Beard himself on YouTube and Twitter. And I got Edward at Kid Country on Twitter. On YouTube, and of course the legend himself, Bubba and the old man. Auburn Sports Talk as well. Also, man, do us a favor, man. Go follow the people that rock with us here, man. Shout out to our guy DJ, man. Day one supporter of Water Cooler Talk Sports, man. Follow him on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Hollywood_media. That's Hollywood the EY. Follow him on Facebook at Hollywood Media with 2 A's. Hollywood. These are the people that mess with Water Cooler Talk Sports, man. We appreciate y'all so much. Do us a favor as well, man. Follow us on Twitter at CoolersPod23. Follow us at the Water Cooler Talk on TikTok and on Instagram. And, of course, follow us at the Water Cooler Talk Podcast on Facebook. And, of course, make sure you visit www.watercoolertalksports.com for all of your college football, SEC football, and, of course, Auburn football news in written form. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all so much for that as well, man. Visit www.watercoolertalksports.com, man. And if you want to support the channel financially, man, super chats are always open. You can come in, super chat. It is what it is. Also, if you want to put that on autopilot, $5.99 a month, man, to join the Coolest Cubes game, man. It is what it is. We appreciate that so much. You support the channel, and of course, member-only content coming as we get closer to spring football in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, man, two guys decided they wanted to join in with me tonight. It is at the Insider and the man himself, the legendary Sweet Sugar Williams, the Rooster Mac, the Huggy Beard himself, man.
What's happening, Nick? What's up, man?
What's going on, man? How y'all feeling tonight? Y'all feeling good?
Feeling good, feeling great.
That's what it is, man. We appreciate that so much, man, for rocking with us as always. Take a look and see who in the chat with us tonight. Of course, Huggy getting started off in the chat, and he on the screen with us, man. Shout out to you so much, my guy. Mike McKinney in the chat rocking with us as well, as always. War Eagle to you, Mike, man. We appreciate you, man. Big Sarge in the chat. War Eagle with the fire emojis, man. We appreciate you so much for rocking with us. Wade is in the chat as well, man. Good evening, family. War Eagle. Shout out to Wade, man. Be careful out there on that road, my guy. Hope you're doing good. His Royal Highness has entered the chat. King Richard. What's up, King Richard, man? How you feeling tonight, man? Hope you're feeling good. Hope you're feeling great. Jay in the chat with us tonight. What's up, Jay, man? How you feeling, man? Appreciate you so much for rocking with us as always, man. Don't want to hold y'all too long tonight. I say that all the time, but you know, we end up, getting into some great conversations, and then next thing you know, we be on here for a while. But try not to hold y'all too long tonight, man. But we appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us, man. As you can tell, from the title of tonight's show and from the thumbnail, why coaching matters, and why coaching matters more than ever now in the SEC. I missed you, Auburn Dad. My bad. What up, AD4L? Did I miss Auburn Dad?
Hey,
did I miss
that, AD? Yeah, you ain't say nothing.
I didn't see Auburn Dad. My bad, man. Y'all already know, man. Let me get Auburn Dad up here, man. Did I miss Auburn Dad? Shout out to Auburn Dad for life, man. AD4L. What's up, my guy, man? Hope you feeling good. Hope you feeling great, man. Appreciate you so much. It is what it is. There you go. He said, "Why you miss me?" I didn't realize it, man. I didn't realize
to his head and not his heart.
That's it. That's all it is, man. That's all it is. Just charge it to my head, not my heart. That's what it is. It's exactly what it is, man. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us as well. Let's get into it, man. Why coaching matters more than ever in the SEC, and does the SEC still have the best coaches, man? I don't know if y'all were on the show last night over on Ted's channel at his SEC season. But we had the opportunity to live rank coaches. Is what we had the opportunity to do. I'm gonna bring in a guy right here that's gonna rock with us as well, ladies and gentlemen. It is Mr. 21. Can you do something for me? Ed Darby gonna rock with us tonight. What else, Ed? How you feeling, man?
Stages.
That's what it is, man. Stages. So last night, man, on over at his SEC's YouTube channel, man. Make sure y'all go check out that video where we live rank top 10 coaches in the SEC. After that show went off, I had the opportunity. I started thinking after the show went off. My mind started racing when that happened. Make sure y'all go watch it, because that live ranking show was actually pretty. It was pretty dope. Do I necessarily agree with the order it was in? Not really, but it was still a great show. And we got the preseason 2026 top 10 coaches in the SEC is what we got. But after that show was over with, my mind started racing, my mind started moving, and I started asking myself, the questions about why coaching is important now more than ever, not just in the SEC, but that's what we talk over here, SEC football, but in college football as a whole. And I also wanted us to dive into the question of the quality of coaching in the SEC, and if the SEC still has the best coaches, or do people still think the SEC has the best coaches? But I want to start with the first question first, because I think we can dive into the rest of it afterwards, and we'll try to bring this back to Auburn towards the end of the show. But why does coaching matter so much now in this era of college football than previous eras of college football? And I'm gonna start with Ann on this. I want to get Ann's thoughts on that first.
Man, you're gonna have to have a great if you talking about coaching, you're gonna have to break it down into different, you know what I'm saying, the different things. Like you gotta be a CEO, then you gotta be able to manage your coaches that's under you, then you gotta be able to manage your players.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with NIL being a big factor now, that's putting more pressure on the coaches to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Because teams ain't finna spend 30, 50, $70 million on a roster and you're not winning them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's very important to get a great coach.
Okay. So leadership matters. I hear you. Ed, your thoughts.
Coach is more important now than ever because you can't stack teams anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see the Miamis, the USCs, the Alabama thing has gone off here. Because that's what it was all about in the SEC. Why they were so dominant for so long is because we had all those slots filled of the defensive line and the offensive line. Don't have that anymore. That stuff's more spread across college football now. So coaching and development is more important than anything now.
Wow. Saying a mouthful right there. Rooster Mac. Your thoughts on that, man?
Hold up, Nick. Something's going on with my phone. Let me figure this out, and I'll jump right back in.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah. So Rooster Mac said he gonna jump back in after he figured this out with his connection there. But yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with both of you all there, man. I definitely agree with you all when you all say that leadership. The leadership at the top. I think we kind of had this conversation on a previous show at one point in time where we talked about leadership at the top. Which would we rather have? Would we rather have elite leadership or elite talent? And I think majority of us that was on the panel that night basically said that we would rather have elite coaches that can recruit elite talent. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say that's what majority of the people said. In that were on that show that night. But no, I definitely agree, man. You have to have great coaching in college football now, especially with the way that it is set up, the way that it is ran, the way that it is refereed, the way that it is the way that you have to be in order to basically promote your team as part of what you're trying to do in order to, get to the point to where it is your team can be considered great and be able to be in that conversation of college football playoff and national championship and conference championship conversation. You definitely have to have elite coaching. Tez just joined us in the chat, man. Tez, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Feeling pretty good, man.
Chilling. Tonight's show, why coaching matters in the SEC more than ever. And second part of that, does the SEC still have the best coaches? I referenced this basically off of after last night's show that we did on your channel. After that, mine got to thinking and wanted to ask this question and kind of just have a discussion about, why coaching is more important, and can the SEC still carry that mantle of basically saying we still have the best coaches in all of college football? Your thoughts on the first part of that question, why coaching is more important, more imperative now in the SEC?
Well, I think it's more imperative now. I'm trying not to simplify it too much, but NIL, NIL is I think that's one of the reasons why it's more important, because when you look at other schools, a lot of times when we look at other schools, smaller schools, we use NIL as the reason why those schools are successful. Specifically in the SEC, you look at Vanderbilt, other schools that aren't traditionally successful, we point to NIL, we point to talent. But I think that it's coaching, right? Because it's every school in America has NIL available to them, and every single one of them are trying to use that in a way to build them a championship. but there's only a select few of those that actually make some noise for real. So the difference has to be coaching. And in the SEC, it's more important than ever because of that very reason. In this league, the bottom is now the top. You know, the middle of the SEC is filled with teams that, you know, either some of them were traditional powers and some of them didn't traditionally win. It's not as top heavy in anymore. So that's one of the reasons I think that coaches matters, because the resources now available to everybody. Back before, it was only a few schools that could afford players that could, you know, that were managing to actually compensate players, even though it was illegal. There was only a select few schools that could do that and get away with it and fund rosters. Now everybody can do that above the table. So the one thing that has to separate these teams has to be the coaching staff.
Okay. It's a very, very good explanation there. I appreciate that. That's pretty good. Huggy, you ready?
What's happening?
All right. Just want to make sure you was good to go. Why do you think do you think coaching is more important now in the SEC than ever?
Well, first off, let me say, you know, how do I follow Tez? Think I'm smarty pants, but I wouldn't limit it to just the SEC. I mean, if we're going to put a microscope on the SEC specifically, I don't think coaching there's never been a point where coaching hasn't been, in my opinion, the single most important thing. In today's game, I'd say it's took on a new importance because you have to wear multiple hats. If you're really great at coaching, but you're not good at, I guess what you might call like the CEO aspect of managing, not so much managing your roster, but almost, well, let's call it what it is, your payroll. You could be a great coach if you're bad with the money. Dabo Swinney is the perfect example. He wanted to be stubborn, do it the old way. We're not going to take anybody from the portal. And Clemson is not what they used to be. And he's come around, but I think it's too late. So I'd say in today's game, it went from being, you know, most important to it's the single most vital part of your team. You know, you've got to learn, you've got to be able to coach on the field and then manage a, you know, depending on your school, maybe $1 billion corporation. I mean, because let's be honest, that's what it is now officially.
So you say, so everybody's coming at it from a organizational point of view, you know, from the 30,000 foot view of organization. Like a coach is going to have to be able to do a lot of different things in order for them to be successful wherever they are, you know, not just the SEC, but in college football. But let's break that down even more to just X's and O's, right?
Sure.
Let's break that down to just even more than not just let's say coaches are doing pretty good at the CEO stuff. All right. But how important is it for a head coach, in your opinion, to be able to be good at X's and O's with the parity that Tez is talking about, that Tez spoke about in his answer? When parity is involved in some sort of way, in some sort of possibility, how important is it for coaches to be able to have the X's and O's aspect of it, or hire coordinators that are good at being X's and O's coaches and can scheme? And I'm gonna start with Ed on that one.
I mean, it's up there. I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily, like you said, be the head coach, but it could be the offensive coordinator. But yeah, in today's football, yeah, you gotta have somebody that can play design and that can call games in the game and being able to adjust. So yeah, it's really needed. Like I said, many hats that the coach has to wear. But you definitely have the X. You have to have the X and O game in today's game.
Okay, to that point. Does because of the parity, does this look more like when we get the X's and O's part, does this look more like the NFL to you than anything, Tez?
What do you mean by that?
Like when you get to the
NFL?
when you get to the NFL, right? When guys get traded from teams to teams, most of the time, a lot of the schemes that's being ran in the NFL are kind of similar across the board.
Okay, I see
Right.
what you're saying now.
You see what I'm saying? So, but there could be different, terminology that guys are using and things and stuff of that nature. There's a version of it. Like, for example, Alex Golesh, Josh Heupel, Jeff Lebby, all three coaches in the SEC come from the Art Browse tree of coaching.
I got what you mean.
Jeff, I believe Jeff Lebby was with Art Browse at Baylor, if I'm not mistaken. Josh Heupel learned under Art Browse as well, and all of them run a version of that type of offense that is kind of taking over college football somewhat. So my question is, when you look at it from that perspective, is do you think that with that in mind, college football is becoming more like the NFL, and coaches in that way are going to have, and you're instead of finding guys that can recruit well, you're going to have to find guys that are going to be able to scheme very, very well. Like, I guess the question I'm asking is it more important to have guys that can scheme than it is to have guys that can recruit?
Yeah. Okay. So when you put it like that, yeah, absolutely. Because guys that can recruit, you can buy. You can pay for those, right? Like you can go spend money and get a Kenyatta Watson as your GM, or you can pay for that. You can pay for recruiting. As far as scheme, I guess you could say you could pay for that too in terms of coordinators or whatnot. But scheme is more important than ever. That's how we win games. None of that actually works without that. So like, you can't have. It's because all of this ties together too. It's because of the parity that's in the league now. Because the talent is more even across the board. The reason why I say coaching is more important than ever is the same reason why I say scheming is more important than ever, because you have to have some type of identity to your team to get everybody on that team to buy in. And also because the talent in NIL and resources is so available to everybody right now. When you go in to recruit players and to build your team, to run your scheme, you can't anymore just go get top tier talent just because they are highly ranked. You can't do that anymore because everybody's going after these players now. You have to be more specific in your recruiting and recruit around something. So if you don't have a solid scheme, you can't even approach recruiting from a place that's going to lead to success. You can only just throw darts at a dartboard and hope something lands. If you don't have a solid scheme in place, and if your coach isn't good at that, so yeah, I think that's more important than ever. Now, I probably misspoke when I said it couldn't be bought, because you can go get coordinators to supplement for what you lack in scheme, but you're gonna have to have like the discipline and the other aspects in place to have all these players buy into that. So it has to actually, it all has to work together for it all to be successful. And I scheming is a big part of coaching. And when the talent is, I'm not saying that the talent is equal in the SEC, because there are some more talented teams than others. But when the talent gap closes across the board, all of this becomes vitally important. Coaching, scheme, all of the little things all of a sudden become big things. So yeah, I think and to your point, that mirrors the NFL in a way where, there aren't a lot of blowouts in the NFL. If it makes sense. It may seem like it, but like most NFL games are decided by 10 points or less because the talent is fairly even across the board, and the only thing that separates is these teams ends up being 2 or 3 plays in a game or one drive in a game is the separator in a lot of NFL games. And if you're saying that is the byproduct of what all of this is going to produce, then yeah, I can definitely see an NFL like culture in college football.
So we talk about culture a lot, and we talked about it a lot on this show. We talked about always building culture. A coach has to come in and build his culture, install his culture, install his culture, install his process, install his detail. And I just want to look at this from the other side of that. Is that still even important? Now, when you add in the transfer portal, when you add in the NIL, when you add in all of the outside factors that make it more NFL like, is even trying to build a culture as a head coach important, or should you, to the point that I'm thinking that Tess was trying to make, should you just be out here just trying to figure out exactly who you really could just go out and get to come in and just help you on a year-by-year basis, because that's really what it feels like. What's your thoughts on that, Ant?
Man, culture is very important. I mean, just take a look at us. The Hugh Freeze experiment for 3 years, and I hate to use that as an example, but that's what you get when you go try and get stars and don't have a culture set up behind it.
Okay, hold on to that point. If Hugh Freeze was more dialed in, I ask you this question. I think I know where you're going. If Hugh Freeze was more dialed in into what he wanted to do scheme wise and actually trying to coach, do you think he would have been successful?
Yes.
Okay. How is that? And I'm asking this from a person that I'm not saying I necessarily believe in this, but there may be somebody out there that believe this. How does that connect to culture?
Because culture is the coach.
It's right at the good part. Too.
That's what I was waiting
all the time, man.
Yeah, it's all good. It's okay.
Oh, it ain't my fault. I'm in the woods. So if you're the head coach, I'm gonna take on your personality as a player, right? Meaning, if you, like Ed says, if you're on the golf course on the back nine worrying about it's gonna be Paul,
Oh man,
whose fault
did
is
we
this
lose?
time,
Did
man?
we lose him? I think we lost Ed.
Whose fault is it?
I think we lost Ed. Ed, pick
The
that
most
up.
hilarious running
pick up-
joke in America.
Pick up.
I'm gonna say the NFL team, they have culture too. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens have a culture. Pittsburgh Steelers got a certain type of culture.
Okay.
Rams, some teams are high flying in the NFL. I think every team has to have a culture because it goes by your coach. So, the norms, the expectations, everything starts with the head coach. And I think that's what Ant was trying to get to is when you lackadaisical like that, you're not really putting your full effort in. This is the results that you're going to get because your team is going to follow you.
I guess the question that I'm trying to ask is like, when we talk about culture, right? Because we had this conversation about defining the word culture and everything. But if we are looking at it from the perspective of this is probably not even NFL like, to where you can actually have a guy that can kind of move in and out year after year after year. Why does it matter for a coach to come in and set a particular standards of what it is, of what he wants? We know what he will want it to be scheme wise, but why don't he just recruit to that instead of trying to come in here and set something down to where guys will just be like, I'm trying to be an Auburn man or anything like that. Just come in here and just catch the football for us. Or just come in here and just run for 800, 900 yards as a running back. That's what we need you to do. Because more than likely, you may not be here after a year. Why do we?
Wow.
Why does that? Why don't coaches just do that?
Because it ain't gonna
Well,
work.
while I got service, let me say this.
Oh,
It's just
Lord.
like oh man, come on now. Don't tell me I ain't got no service this time.
Now you go.
No, you're
We
good.
hear
man.
you.
Oh,
You're
okay.
We hear
So it's like this. It's like this. While I got service, it's just like a house. You need a
Okay.
foundation for it to stand on. If you don't have no
Mhm.
foundation, it's gonna fall. So
Mhm.
I can get players to come run my scheme, but if I don't have no foundation for them to build on, then it's just gonna be nothing.
But
It's gonna be a
the
5-17, like we've
but the
been
scheme,
being.
but the scheme is not culture though.
Yeah, but okay. Buying into the scheme is culture.
There we go.
So,
All right,
so the
there we go.
so the,
Okay.
the mere fact that, like the example that you use, the mere fact that you can get a player, do you just get a player that's talented? Do you get a guy specifically for your scheme? And you say, hey man, you can just come in, run for 800 yards for us. Just want you to run the football. You're not really caring about culture. But I think you are, because the only way you're gonna get that player to actually agree to do that versus go to Ohio State, is the culture has got to be in place. And
But what
he's
if I
got to
say,
be
but
he's got to be a fit for that. When he visits your school, he's got to be like, hey, this right here, I can do this. Right?
But what if I say,
can do this.
what if I say, all right, cool. I hear what you're saying there. But what if I just say, hey man, we're gonna win. What if I say said program is just winning national championships, but the attitudes, the outside stuff around the football program is not of what people would think is of what I don't even want to say pristine, because there is no pristine football team in college football, but it's not of a culture that most people would think it is. Like they just going in there just playing football, and they winning games. That's what they doing. That's not a healthy culture, but they winning football games.
I don't think you're gonna win a lot of football games without culture. I think to give you the best example of a team with no culture that's out there playing football right now, these 37U teams out here. They just out there playing. and that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
Oh man,
37U teams, man. 37U teams.
No
man.
culture. They just out there playing football.
That's hilarious, man.
That is funny. I don't necessarily agree with what I was saying. I'm just trying to make an argument on what some people may say.
I got
just
you.
trying to look at it from an outside perspective, because I do believe you have to have some type of foundation, like Ant was saying, which is the pillar of what it is that you want to do. Even if just look at Georgia. I'm just gonna keep saying, just look at Georgia.
Yeah.
It's not the most pristine program.
So, and it works for different programs. I mean, going back in the day to Miami, they had that thugged out culture back there in the 90s.
Fatigues, baby. That's what we is. Fatigue. That's what we wearing, man.
So they had a prison culture, and they won football games.
Prison?
They had a
Not prison.
Hey, it was
man.
Catholics versus the prisoners. So
It was Catholic versus convicts. That's I think, isn't that something the media came up with? The Catholic versus convicts, isn't that what they came up with?
Yeah.
Culture. So
wow, man.
To be
Notre
fair,
Dame. That was the Notre Dame. Was the good guys, and Miami was just all wild and rambunctious and all that.
Man.
Yeah. And to be fair, from a media perspective, that's one hell of a headline, bro. Like he took a bow at the office that day when he dropped that one.
Yeah, but a student actually come up with that, and then the media printed it. I don't know if y'all were. Being a Florida State guy, I vividly remember a student at Notre Dame come up with that Catholic versus convicts, and then the media ran with it.
Yeah, put it on a shirt. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you put it on a shirt.
And as far as Miami playing that way, it might have appeared to us, but I know you look at the coaches they had, especially Jimmy Johnson, it appeared that way to us, but there was discipline from the top to the very bottom of that team. They might have looked like it was controlled chaos. Jimmy Johnson especially had his finger on everything, and that to me is what is culture. If it had been just if Hugh Freeze had that Miami team, they ain't doing none of that.
No,
Interesting.
they had prison culture. I mean, they got culture in prison too. So
Nah, I wouldn't say it was prison culture, but it was just they took on their head coach. Like, you got to think about it. Schellenberg was a hard-nosed coach.
Absolutely.
Schellenberger.
Yeah,
Schellenberger.
Schellenberger was a very hard-nosed coach. I'm talking about worse than Jimmy Johnson. And Jimmy Johnson wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't as bad, but he still had that hard-nosed presence. So they just took on those two coaches.
Take a look at these.
This is alma mater, wasn't it?
narcotics too.
Yeah, something like that. Take a look at these comments before we move on through, because we had 35 minutes already. Goodness. Wow.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It does time fly. God, dog, time does fly. King Rich said, man, coaching matters more than ever, man. Jordan, Alabama can't just stack 5-star players anymore. We still have the best coaches from top to bottom. Okay. All right, man. Big Sarge comes in and said, man, I was really impressed with the tight ends coach Larry Scott in his interview. You could tell he was a head coach somewhere. Shout out to that. I think he's talking about the player, the coaches interviews that the media had availability to them today, so they've been putting those out today. Now you need great coaching because turnover on rosters are happening every year and more people are leaving. Shout out to Big Sarge come back and said, man, coaches now have to be better at communicating their vision for the program to the players. I like it. King Richard, shout out to King Richard, man. He comes back and said, man, a head coach is only as good as his assistants. Look at the rumors that came out of Auburn the last year of Gus Malzahn with Kevin Steele. Ooh, all right, man. Slugged up. Shout out to Slugged Up Durkin, man. He said, "What about UGA culture in football?" Interesting.
To drive fast.
Yeah, they drive very, very fast. Man.
Yeah, they just in Chargers. They just in Chargers racing down 285. That's it.
Michael Johnson. Shout out to Michael Johnson, man. Appreciate you so much, man, for coming around and rocking with us here around the water. He said, what do y'all think about Cam saying he would take the GM position at Auburn? What I think about it?
Terrible idea.
I don't want to get into that.
I don't know if it's a terrible idea. I don't know if it's the best idea.
It's a terrible idea. But
I wouldn't.
It's a terrible idea.
I don't think you'll get what you got out of Will Redmond or what you're getting out of the one we have now.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say
like the one we have now, because Cam's never been in that position.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this all due respect to Cam.
But so has the guys that have been in those positions. A lot of those guys went into positions either when they took those jobs. They had to have a first time somewhere as well too.
I would be more excited if they announced that Nick Frazier was the GM versus if they announced.
Wow, that's hilarious, bro. That is funny.
And I'm not. That's not funny. A joke.
That is funny.
Because
y'all don't have faith in one Cameron Jarrell Newton.
Well, it's not that. It's
not in that spot.
Yeah, it's just that position. Whoa. Yeah, that position now, all of a sudden, that position requires somebody who has a background in something. Like, this is not just you identifying talent anymore. Do I think he could do that? He could do that with the best of them. Look at his 7-on-7 teams. He can get talent in there and identify talent. Yeah, he can do it. He's an NFL player. But can he do the day-to-day operations when it comes to finances, when it comes to budgeting, when it comes to roster building and retention? How much can we spend on this room? How much can we spend on like that? No, I wouldn't. Like I said, I would trust Nick Frazier to do that before I trust Cam.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
It's very, 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 very flattering. I appreciate
Nick would be in there like, you want how much?
Right. It's very, very flattering, man. Very, very flattering. You know, it is what it is. I appreciate that. I mean, I don't think it's the best idea. I don't think it's the worst idea. But it wouldn't be my first choice. I'll put it like that. That's how I'm gonna put that. It would be. I think from a perspective of acquiring talent, I think it's dope because you have guys that be like, hey, that's Cam Newton. You know how many of these guys right now grew up watching Cam Newton play football? They'd be like, I had the opportunity to go play, with Cam Newton. That's probably like, what is this? This is 2015. So the guys that are being recruited now or and are playing now were probably 3, 4 at the earliest, 5 years old, watching Cam play. So
he's a real life superhero to them.
Exactly. So from that perspective, yeah. So but when it comes down to roster management, roster retention, trying to stay underneath the cap, understanding the cap rules, understanding like how do we I call it cash management system more than anything. Like, how do you manage the cash that's being brought in and what's being brought out? Understanding what the total revenue is of the athletic department, and then how that money that you get from the athletic department is going to be divvied up between each sport, and then how you going to divvy that up to how it fits moving forward years down the road. Yeah, that take a lot of math. That's what I say. So
Exactly.
it's really like cap control. You really have to run it like you running a cap with an NFL team. So yeah, it would be something. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Put it like this, Nick. I had a bulldog named after Cam Newton, one of my favorite Auburn players. However, if he was really a candidate for that job, he wouldn't have had to just throw his name out there. They would have went to him.
Of course.
You do what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. That makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, and I'll use it an example, Nick, that probably, I don't know if anybody will really understand this. You being a wrestling guy, you will. Back in the day, when Kerry Von Erich won the NWA world title, he held it for like 9 days. And all the top guys around him, this is the example they used. There's more to it than, because that was such a prestigious position, there's more to it than just signing autographs and flexing and posing for the fans.
Exactly.
Kind of the same concept. There's more to it than just being, I'm Cam Newton, one of, if not the greatest college quarterbacks of all time. I think the way, like you used the example of how guys would look up to him, I think that would be a detriment, because they would see him in a different light than what he actually needed to be. And it would make it more difficult for him to do certain things and be taken seriously, because they're seeing him as this guy looked up to as a player, and it's not the same thing. He would have to be a completely different mentality to be able to do something like that.
I like it.
Yeah,
I agree with you there.
You know what though, man? Like I gotta say this. You know what bothers me about this situation? We've been bad for a long time, particularly at the quarterback position. Cam Newton has noted that on his show several times, how bad he's been at the quarterback position. He said that when Deuce Nice asked for his number, he noted it then. Hey, Auburn's been bad for a while at the quarterback position. What I don't like from Cam Newton is that he has failed to be an ambassador and get involved and want to get involved with the program from a us winning standpoint, like being a mentor to some of these quarterbacks and things like that. But now that this GM, and I know it's probably tongue in cheek, he knows that he's not legitimately a candidate for a GM job at a university right now. But now you throw your hand, it's like, bro, we need you to do something different. Like all
right, okay. To your point, okay. Let's before we move on to the next part of the topic. To your point, how do we know he has not behind the scenes been trying to get guys to come to Auburn?
I have no idea. I can just only speak to the information he shared publicly. He publicly shared this about being a GM. So I don't know. He could be behind the scenes, but it's not so much coming to Auburn, but like, you're an NFL quarterback. How can these kids get better at the quarterback position? Why aren't they coming to work out with Cam Newton in the offseason? Like you are Cam Newton. Right? This is not
okay. So
you understand what I'm saying?
Let's deviate a little bit, because we got to get back to that subject. I'm gonna stay on this for about another 2-3 minutes. Deshaun Watson was a quarterback that actually worked out with Cam Newton. But ultimately,
and where did he play?
Clemson. He ended up going to Clemson. But
how did that work out?
But he won a national championship with Clemson. He did. Let's just be honest about that. But during that time period, you had a Nick Marshall on the squad. That was there for 2 seasons. So, would he have, won that starting job during that time as well? So did it make sense for him to come to Auburn at that point in time? And things stuff of that nature. So I mean, I get where you coming from. But I can't see it. Like behind the scenes, Cam Newton probably has more than likely tried to steer people that he has worked with to Auburn University.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that.
It's the same thing with I know Mike G used to say this when Emeka Ibuka was working with one of the Auburn guys up there.
That's a great Courtney Taylor.
Preach all they want to, but we don't have the results on the field and the stats to get them to come to Auburn. It doesn't matter that you're talking to Cam Newton. And then also remember that Gus Malzahn didn't like anybody working with their quarterbacks.
Exactly, in the offseason. Very true.
Yeah, some coaches don't allow it. So
yeah. I mean, listen, all that is true. I give you that. But I don't know. I think Gus would have been okay with a quarterback that worked in his system, that led his team to a national championship, led his offense to a national championship, teaching the things that he was taught from Gus Malzahn. I think Gus Malzahn had a problem with independent coaches that's just teaching this blanket quarterback stuff. He really wanted quarterbacks to be specific to his system. So like Cam Newton would have been the perfect person to offer some toolage to those kids. And it's really me nitpicking, right? I'm looking at Tim's comment. Like I said, to be fair, have any of them been invited? Right? Any of those coaches ever wanted him? Now that's a very, very legitimate argument. But I guess the point that I'm trying to make is like you never made that public, right? You never while you were willing to tell Deuce Knight it was an F no to wearing his number, you didn't publicly offer to like get him to the point where you felt he could wear the number. You see what I'm saying? Like you have to do it kind of both ways if you're gonna criticize. And like you're the biggest figure right now in that's in the talk media space from Auburn University. Like there's no bigger than that right now. And you have to be mindful of like the image that you put out and what you and how your affiliation to the university gets perceived by the public. Because I'm just gonna be honest, to me, it seems like you only come around when we win it.
Yep.
We losing, you're non-existent.
Really?
But
You really feel that way?
That's what it seems like to me.
You've been winning a lot, and you've been coming around. I'm just saying.
Win.
I mean,
It was like I give it to you like this.
Open. I just don't think the coaches that we had in the past were open for players.
And that could be the case. Yeah, that could be the case. But
I don't think anybody like Carson like that. I don't think he reached out. Hell, he didn't recruit, so I know he didn't reach out to former players.
Yeah,
I think the door just now coming back open with AG. I think I seen somewhere where he's invited folks back, so they haven't been welcomed back.
And,
I would love to see it.
And the funny part about that is, Sammy Coates actually, publicly said Auburn had to make it. Please make it easier for former players to come back. So to that point, it's not like former players didn't want to come back. I mean, you see it with Alex Golesh as well. You hired Jarius McIntyre on the staff as well. He's now kind of the role where he's the liaison between Auburn and high school coaches. So you see that's a very important position and things stuff of that nature. Cody Burns, he's back on the staff. So I mean, the door. It seems like the door is opening back up, but I gotta disagree. I think Cam.
This is Cam.
So Cam has every game Cam has come back to and been a part of. Auburn has lost them all. And I don't understand why, because it was a running joke. It was a running joke for the longest. Like every time he comes back to Auburn for a game, Auburn loses.
How many can you can count that number of games on your hand though?
Yeah, it's like 10.
Yeah, he doesn't come back very often when he's available. Like it could be the staff. Don't get me wrong. It could be the staff, and it's not just a blanket. Don't get me like you can't let everybody on around the team. Right. So
Of
that
course,
open
very
door
true.
policy, you can't just say, oh, all Auburn players y'all can come back. Like, no, you have to vet it, right? I've seen Auburn players at every stop with every coach. There are some Auburn players that have been around the program. Like the coaches are selective with who they want around the program. I find it hard to believe that Cam Newton, now that all these players that we see is on the do not let on the sideline list. Like,
But you gotta
no.
understand. But you gotta understand too. You gotta understand too. During that time period, Cam was still an active NFL quarterback as well. Like he hasn't played from 2011, 20 to 2018, 2019, and then he came back and had the 2021 season. So
Right.
really 22, 23, 24, he's only been, available, during that time. But during that time, he was also an active NFL starting quarterback as well, too.
I think it's fair.
I think Cam also, this is not an insult to the man, but I think he understands that he's an important name, but I think he thinks he's more important, if that makes any sense. So I agree with Tez on the vetting part. Like, you can't just have everybody come, and don't get me wrong, I love me some Cam Newton, but if you watch his podcast and really listen to him, I don't know if arrogant, or maybe that is the right word, but maybe in his defense, he's, bigger, faster and stronger than most people. He's been a big deal his whole life. It kind of messes with your mentality, and you put yourself, even if others put you on a pedestal, in your mind, it goes up another level just because of you understand who you are, if that makes any sense.
It is an interesting conversation. It is an interesting fact that's pointed out.
Save it for Friday.
I don't know. Friday we building the offensive depth chart. Water cooler talks about.
See, I don't know, like over in Colorado, like Deion and them have like a coaching ambassador who's been at Colorado for like 20, 30 years. So that's kind of what his job is doing all that old player outreach, setting up players to come back, all that type of stuff. So. Yeah.
I like it. All right, man. Let's get to this next part of the. We had a nice Cam Newton Auburn part of that. Well, let's get to this next part, man. Get back to this coaching. Get back to why coaching matters, man. Let's talk about the SEC, man. Simple question: does the SEC still have the best coaches? Point blank. Period. And your thoughts?
Yes.
Why?
You got. If you put half of the league in any other conference, they're gonna come top 3 of that conference. So, if you put, we taking Kirby, I'm gonna take Kirby out of this equation. So if you put Lane, Ole Miss team in any other conference, they top 2. If you put Vanderbilt in any other conference, they top 2.
We're not talking about schools. We're not talking about teams. We're talking about
I'm
coaches.
talking about coaching. Yeah.
So if you put Clark Lee in any other conference, Clark Lee would be the top coach in another conference.
He'll probably be top 3. Yeah.
Okay. Ed, your thoughts?
I hate this question. I mean, it's a guess, but I don't. It's just a guess. I don't care if you got the best coaches or whatever, because you still ain't winning championships. So.
Wow. So okay. So you said the conference does have the best coaches overall.
Overall, they're coaches, but there's other. I mean, Marcus Freeman of Notre Dame. I think it's some other coaches that are slept on. Like, I keep bringing this guy up because I think he's a great coach, but he just coaches at BYU, the Kalani guy. Yeah, I think he's a great coach. Yeah, he's a great coach at BYU.
Okay, so I mean, like we talk about the SEC and how middle of the pack SEC teams will just do against other teams and other conferences and things and stuff like that. But coaching is a big part of this, man. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold off on that. Ted, your thoughts on that? Is the SEC still, in your opinion, does the SEC have the overall have the best coaching overall?
Yeah. I was trying to find a conference with a better top to bottom coaching. The first thing I looked up was Big Ten.
Mhm.
Well, I put it like this: the SEC has a dilemma, whereas the coaches that are breeded and born in the SEC, we send them elsewhere, right? Because they haven't proven anything in the SEC. They got to go off to these other conferences to earn their chops, and then ultimately get this big job in the sky in the SEC. Because now
Name three.
proven.
Name three.
Kurt Cinetti, Rhett Lashley. I don't know. I got to think about a third. It's another SEC coach.
Dillingham,
Dillingham. Yeah, I didn't even
Oregon
think about Dillingham.
coach.
Dillingham actually started at Memphis. Let's just be honest.
Okay, well, Oregon
No,
coach.
I'm saying it's not SEC country though. But I'm saying this is what happened in the SEC is those coaches have to go off because we've got this prestige around the conference that just says that, oh, you can't coach in this. Has he done it in the SEC? The amount of times I hear that question when we're talking about anything regarding football in this conference is if I'd be rich if I had $1. But every time I've heard the phrase, has he done it in the SEC? What has he done in the SEC?
Man.
So now the SEC has this dilemma where they can't even promote coaches from within their programs and stuff like that. They have to go off to these other schools to earn chops so that they be respected in the SEC. But what's happening is they're going off to those other schools and making the playoffs. And Lannon ain't coming back to the SEC. Kurt Cinetti don't care about coming back to the SEC. So like in that respect, yeah, we sending our coaching talent that we breed out to these other schools, and we are getting talent from inferior conferences. We had to bring in 5 coaches in the SEC from the American Conference. So I guess you could say it from that standpoint, but still, when I look at the roster of coaches, when I see Big Ten and I see SEC or I see some of these other conferences, I think who's the worst coach in the SEC right now? Who would you say? Probably Will Stein has got to be. He's a new guy.
I don't even think.
Well, he's the new. Well, I'm just saying he's a new guy.
He's the newest.
Yeah, he hasn't been a head coach before.
So like, still maybe Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, man, come on.
But what I'm saying is like, I'm saying it's like Will Stein would probably fall middle of the pack in the Big Ten. Actually, you know what I mean? So
you think? Okay, so let's do this. Do you think Will Stein is better than Luke Fickell?
No.
At Wisconsin.
No.
Okay, do you think Will Stein is better than Matt Rule?
No.
Okay, let's not even use Will Stein. Let's use a middle. Let's use a coach. Let's use Drinkwitz, because I actually brought this name up at one point in time and compare him to another coach. Do you think Eli Drinkwitz is better than Matt Rule at Nebraska?
I think you're drawing straws with that.
Okay. Do you think that Eli Drinkwitz is better than PJ Fleck in Minnesota?
I really like PJ Fleck, but I'm taking Drinkwitz with what he's done in the SEC.
There we go. SEC.
Is what I'm saying.
You just said it, Taz. You just said it.
You can't escape it, man. That's what I'm saying.
Would you take Eli Drinkwitz over Bob Chesney, UCLA's head coach? He was just at James Madison.
I take Drinkwitz still. It's about prestige, man. That's what it is. I mean,
thank you. Somebody understands where I be coming from with this, man. It makes sense now. It's all about prestige, man. Y'all forget Minnesota went out here and just ran all over Auburn. What was that? The Outback Bowl, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I believe that's what it was. They went out there and just ran over Auburn in the Outback Bowl. You know what I'm saying? We forget that Brent Bielema just went out here and beat LSU this year in the bowl game as well. You know, with Illinois, with Luke Allmeyer at quarterback.
So here's the thing, though. We also had a whole nother episode during playoff time that said when we asked the question, do playoff games really matter? And everybody said no.
I said they did. I said they did because there was a stat. Somebody actually followed this stat. They said this bowl season was the season where you saw the less opt-outs in years since that's been a thing.
I can believe that.
This has been a season where there's been less opt-outs. I think when Vanderbilt lost their bowl game, I think the only opt-out Vanderbilt had in that game was Eli Styles. Now, granted, Eli Styles is a very important piece of that offense, but you still had Junior Sherrill, you still had Diego Pavia, you still had Cedric Alexander, you had the whole starting offensive line, and everybody that was on the defense side of the ball. To where we were all saying that this Vanderbilt team should have been a playoff team.
That's true.
That's what we were saying. So now the whole thing about that, man, and I still think Vanderbilt should have been a playoff team. In my personal opinion, I don't think Vanderbilt should have been playing in their ball game because I think if Vanderbilt was playing in the playoff, I think they probably would have made some noise. They probably could have got past first round, which would have been huge for that program. You know, in my opinion. But just like Mr. 21 said, man, it's a prestige thing. It's the fact of the matter that you don't really hear about Minnesota. The only reason why people know about Minnesota is, majority of people here know about Minnesota is the fact that Perry Thompson is now a member of the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Wow,
that's where he transferred to. You know, that's all. That's it. That's where he transferred to. He transferred to Minnesota. He's now he's probably gonna be wide receiver 1 or 2 for Minnesota next year. That's probably what it's gonna be. So I mean,
there's a problem.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. So my thing is, man, I think it's really just a prestige thing when we talk about it. And last night, like we said on your show, Tez, like when we talk about when Kiffin was ranked number 2, I was like, I don't understand it. I don't understand.
Yeah, and I don't get that. I don't
understand that type of stuff. Like, because like even in this conference, I think a lot of guys get more cachet because of the media circuit that's around them. Like I said last night, like I said last night, we can make an argument that Brent Venables, and I didn't say Elko at the time, but Brent Venables and Mike Elko could be just as good defensive minds or better than Kirby Smart. But the reason why we have Kirby Smart number 1 in the conference is because, well, he's the only coach to have won SEC championships and to have won a national championship in the SEC.
Yeah, just put it on the field.
Kirby done did it over a longer period of time too, though.
Yeah, it's 10 years. So like, I don't know, man. Like, I look at the SEC coaches and I'm just thinking, like, where, you know, we mentioned Venables, right?
Mm-hmm.
Venables last night on our list came in 9th.
Yes, which was wild to me.
Wow, that was wild. Venables is a coach that if you put in another conference, he's one of the best coaches in that conference. Right? Mike Elko. You drop Mike Elko in one of these other conferences, they came from other conferences, so we know what they did.
Yes,
we know what he did. Clark Lee, right? Josh Heupel, Sarkisian, Kalen DeBoer, of course, there's Kiffin, Kirby Smart. That's like 8-9 coaches right now that deep. So, like, when I look at the conference, it's like it's in good hands. Now, there's some newcomers with Golesh and Sumrall and Silverfield. We don't know what they are. But if you get just one of them to be a solid coach, the coaching roster in the SEC is pretty damn good.
Man, but I say this. Shout out to Mike. Mike said
there's schools that would pray to have Shane Beamer as a coach. We trying to run him off. There's some other schools and some other conferences that would love to have Shane. They would welcome him to open
Mike said, "Now Nick, you put any of those teams up and compare their schedule to a 9-game SEC schedule. Not even close. Here's where I disagree. Because the SEC, and I have been known for saying this, the marketing behind the SEC has been stellar. Very stellar.
It
It's
has.
been stellar. It's been stellar.
It just means more.
It's been so stellar that we literally forgot that Wisconsin in the early 2000s was a team to be reckoned with. But because of that, because of the BCS and the point system that they had, and Wisconsin being in the Big Ten and things and stuff of that nature, or Nebraska for that nature, like we forget that there are really good teams across the board. And also the fact that we put so much stock into ESPN's preseason rankings, and every ESPN preseason ranking is going to have at least 9 SEC teams ranked in the top 25. Or, well, not top 25, but hardest schedules is what it's going to be. And because every season, when those rankings come out of having them, of having those guys of SEC teams having one of the hardest schedules to play, and at least 9, sometimes 10 of those teams are going to have the top 25 hardest schedules is what they're going to have. It's always going to happen. We always base that from the beginning of the season on how the rest of the season look in anything. We always do it. But I asked the question, man. Like, I asked the question. Go watch Pittsburgh play Illinois and tell me if that's not a good game.
What could be a good game?
Tell me that. Just tell me if you watch that game. Tell me that's not great football or good, or at least comparable football to watch and play. And then come back and watch some of the games in the SEC and tell me, like, is that game on par with this game? Or do we use a lot of outside stuff here in the South? Do we use a lot of other outside influences to basically kind of say, well, this game this game was just that much better? Because at the end of the day, football is just blocking, tackling, passing, catching, and running. That's really what it is. So
I think there's a lot of that going on.
So I asked the question. So I just really asked the question: is it when we take everything into account? When we take everything into account, and we watch those games, and then we watch a game in the SEC. I give you a good example: the Alabama South Carolina game this past season. Was that a good game? Was that really a good game?
I mean, to watch, yeah. If you're looking for an entertainment standpoint, it was a good game, but it was sloppy football all over the place. My point
exactly. But if you go back and watch that game and you look at that, should Alabama have won that game? I give you a better one. Mississippi State, Texas. Was that a good game?
It turned out to be a good game.
Why did it turn out to be a good game? Because Texas came back and won, right? After being down by like 21 points.
It would have been a good game if Mississippi State had held on to it, because they would have been the underdog.
It would have been the underdog. Yeah. You right? You see what I'm saying? But I mean, my thing is like, I really want to know what people think good games are, and when they watch them. Like the Super Bowl. Like a lot of people said, oh, it was a boring game. It wasn't a great game. It was a great game. I thought it was a great game. I thought it was a great defensive game from two great defensive teams to where for literally 3 quarters there was not a touchdown scored.
It just depends on what you like, I guess, because it's like that in all sports though. Like you got some people that like high scoring games, you got some people that like low defensive games. I mean, I guess it's just on what you like.
I like games. I like games to where you have where coaches are scheming and trying to one up the other coach all the time. Not where
you like the chess. You like the chess game.
The chess moves. That's what football is. That's really what it is. To be completely honest with you.
So that's why it's good games going on across the country. I mean, I grew up on UNA, Alabama A&M games, Troy. UAH, like them. I grew up going to them type of games. Them games were lit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I listen. Like good games and good football is good games is separate from good teams. So we got to you have to make sure you put that line in the sand.
But everybody thought I don't want to keep using this.
No, I'm just saying the competition level, because like you guys said, the UNA Troy, good football game, right? Put any of those teams against Alabama, you don't have a good football game no more. You have a slaughter.
But to your point,
you see what I'm saying? So it has to be.
Everybody said Alabama was a better team than South Carolina as well.
No,
everybody said Texas was a better team than Mississippi State.
No, I'm talking about because I think Ed said he grew up watching those. So I'm talking about during that time and those traditional Alabama teams. Like, yeah, they were good. They were good games because the talent among those teams were equal. They were equal teams. You put one of those against a better team, and all of a sudden you have a game you don't even want to watch.
But
that's what I'm saying.
But I'm talking of teams of equal status, is what I'm talking. I'm talking of teams of perceived equal status in the same conference and things stuff of that nature. So everybody thought Alabama was gonna go in there and just slaughter.
I did.
South Carolina. A lot of people thought that. Yes, they did. A lot of people thought Alabama was gonna go in there and slaughter. The things of that nature.
It's the same attitude. Most people think the SEC teams are going to win these non-conference games. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So, it's just a bias.
Are we the problem? Are fans the problem?
We've always been the problem.
Are we the problem with that?
Yeah.
Because
we've always been the problem.
Always.
Because we sit back and hype it up so much. Are we the problem?
Like what you seeing, like what you seeing from NCAA right now, and all the rules being changed, and all this stuff that's going on in college football, even us having a playoff, is college football trying to solve the fan problem? Like we are the problem. They're trying to satisfy us. Like they don't.
Pretty much.
They wouldn't care about half of this stuff. They just want to go out there and play football. We are the problem.
We think, SEC football is king, but, across the country, people are just like, man, it's just football.
Yeah.
So, but because now, SEC fans don't got nothing to talk about because we ain't won no national championship in 3 years.
Exactly.
So okay, this is what I always like to do. We had this conversation, and I do it again. I'm looking at Indiana's schedule, right? 2026 schedule.
Yeah.
All right. You got North Texas. You got Howard, of course. These are non-conference games. Then you got WKU, which is
Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get into conference play with Northwestern, at Rutgers, Nebraska. Then you got Ohio State and Michigan back to back, Minnesota. Then you got USC, and then you got at Washington, and then Purdue to end the year. I don't think that you can put together an SEC schedule that
that schedule had 5 straight games of great teams that had great seasons. You mentioned USC, you mentioned Washington with Jed Fisher, you mentioned Ohio State and Michigan back to back, and then it was another team in that 5-game stretch that you mentioned. Was it Oregon? Because they played Oregon on the road.
No, they didn't play Oregon.
Indiana played Oregon on the road.
This is 2026 schedule. Yeah, not 2025.
Oh, the 2026 schedule.
Yeah,
okay,
this is
the schedule coming up. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, my bad. I probably should have used this year's season. But.
So Signetti said from the start of last year that he didn't care what nobody said. He was going to adopt the SEC 3-game schedule anyway, which means because you got to think back in the day, 3 games, the SEC really didn't play nobody.
Yeah.
But if the conference, you just beat up on each other so much that's how you had to have your schedule.
See, when you make statements like that, that's because of the preseason toughest schedules rankings. That's what I mean. Let's like right now, like I was watching something, and they basically said Auburn had the 5th toughest. I think it was Crane & Co. Crane & Co. said Auburn had the 5th toughest schedule in the country. And I said, how? I said the only team on Auburn's schedule that has somewhat of finality at the most important position on the field, which is quarterback, is Georgia. It's the only team. Every other team on Auburn's schedule is either going to be breaking in a new quarterback, breaking in new pieces on the offensive line, or breaking in new pieces on the defensive line. Every other team. So how can we sit here? So how can we sit here and say that Auburn has the 5th toughest schedule in the conference or in college? I can't remember if it was the conference or college football. When we don't even know who the starting quarterback is going to be. When we don't even know if Joey Aguilar is going to be at Tennessee. We don't even, as of right now, Trinidad Chambliss is not going to be the quarterback at Ole Miss. We don't know this. Philo came from Georgia Tech with Buster Faulkner, but he ain't played in no games. Haynes King been the quarterback for the past 2 seasons. So how can we sit here and say that based off of the schedule, we sit here and talk about Tennessee, we sit here and talk about Florida, we sit here and talk about LSU, we sit here and talk about Ole Miss, we sit here and talk about Arkansas, Vanderbilt, all this. How can we say that is the 5th toughest schedule in college football or the conference, and we don't even know it? We don't even know who the guys are going to be at the most clear positions. We know who the guy going to be at the clear position at Auburn. It's Byron Brown. They brought him in. I mean, it's one of the clearest things. So how can we say it's the 5th toughest schedule when we don't know what those other teams are? We know what they brought in. Right. We know that, but we don't know. But we don't know.
Coaches.
So I think one of the ways I rank schedules is I just use your road games. I really don't care who you have at home when I'm ranking the schedule. I'm looking at who you have to go on the road and play. This year falls under the year that we got to go at Georgia, at Alabama. That's always going to put us in top 10 of schedules. I mean, but like it or not, that's always going to happen because.
But look at
for the reasons that you're saying. Yeah, but for the reasons that you're saying, because the prestige not necessarily.
Alabama has to replace a whole front 7 on defense. They have to do that. They have to replace a whole front 7 on defense. That's what Alabama has to do. They have to break in a new quarterback. They have to break in a new left side of the offensive line.
I mean, that's true. But
how is that tough? That's going to be a lot of new starters.
We still have to go to Alabama.
But that doesn't mean anything. That
means a lot.
That means a lot.
No, it does not. No, it does not.
Yes,
no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Not to me, it doesn't. To me, it does not.
Home field in SEC football. Well, I ain't gonna say SEC football, but in college football, it's like worth 7 points.
That's like I'm gonna say. That's listen. So okay, when you go to the point spread, right? If you ever notice, whoever's the home team, 9 times out of 10, they gonna have at least a half a point advantage, at a minimum.
Yeah, home field is worth a touchdown.
That it means a lot, bro.
Yeah, in college football until you play the game. I mean, yeah, I get what y'all saying. Trust me, I understand what y'all.
I would rather have that game at home.
I get what y'all saying. Yeah. Like, trust me, I understand what y'all saying. I understand why y'all saying it's important. But to me, man, when you take everything into consideration of what those teams are looking like, it's not.
So
it's not.
So
it's not that important when you got to get on the field. Like what? The crowd gonna come in and jump on the field and start playing the game? Though they got a line 11 guys up on. They got a line 11 guys up on the defense. We got a line 11 guys up on the offense. We got a line 11 guys up on the defense, and they got a line 11 guys up on the offense. And when I look at what the projected depth chart is gonna look at it, when I look at this, I look at myself and say Auburn has an advantage. Is what I say.
The crowd can boost your team up to the point. We see that all the time at Auburn.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It's plenty games it's plenty games we've been in that we ain't got no business being in.
When? And what time frame? What time frame?
Georgia last year.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. We should have been in that Georgia game. I called Auburn to beat Georgia before the season even started. I was looking at Georgia roster and I said Georgia did not. This is last year. I even went out on the ropes and said Georgia has the opportunity to not even make the college football playoff. And guess what? Georgia was in some games last year to where the ball bounced their way. Tennessee being one, Auburn being another one, and it was another game that they played to where they could have had 3 losses in 3 more losses in that season. I looked at Georgia's front 7 and it was like they don't have a dominant pass rush. They have a solid they had a solid linebacking core, but their secondary was still kind of brand new to it because they had lost one of their cornerbacks to Texas A&M. and you are now starting a new quarterback in Gunnar Stockton, and you was bringing in 2 new wide receivers. I looked at that and said, early on in the season, they're gonna be gettable. If you don't get them by game 6, by that time they possibly gonna be able to just roll forward and go for it. Is what I said. Now, guess what happened by game 6? They started rolling by game 6, and they were gettable in the first half of the season. Is what I said at the beginning of last year. I called Auburn to beat Georgia last year. And guess what? They were doing it until a fumble on the goal line. But
to be fair, man, all of those guys, to your point about Georgia last year, with them being young and having all these new faces, breaking in a new quarterback and all that stuff, all those guys are coming back. And we got that game. And we got that game in Athens. A lot of them are.
They lost.
They didn't get good.
One Gaston was hurt majority of the season. He's supposed to be the superstar freshman. He was hurt majority of the season, so he's gonna have to step into a role as well on the offensive line. I'm sorry. They lost some of their linebacking core. Some of those guys, yeah, they were great. I ain't even gonna lie. CJ Allen, yeah, they were great. But they'll have Bobo coming back at the center position and things and stuff of that nature. If he can get healthy, which he should be able to. But I mean, yeah, that's the reason. That's the reason why I say, looking at the schedule now for Auburn, the only team that I consider to be like one that you can probably call that has more of a chance is Georgia, because of what they have coming back. That's what I said. Now they did lose some pieces on the offensive line, but some of those guys had some starting experience either way as well. And that's the most probably solid, when you look at it on paper, team that Auburn has on their schedule that you can sit there and be like, all right, that's gonna be a game. But when you look at all the other teams, you got the question marks all over the depth chart.
I mean, it's gonna be question marks. So it's a new season. But here's what I'm saying. When I love this conversation, but because like I said, I always look at the away game. We have at Tennessee, at Georgia, at Ole Miss, at Mississippi State, at Tuscaloosa. Nobody in the country wants to play that road schedule. Nobody. Like, all of the important games out on our schedule this year are on the road. This schedule is a lot. It's sneaky tough, right? Because of you get the Georgia and the Alabama game on the road. Of course, there's the uncertainty around Ole Miss and Trinidad Chambliss, but there are also some talented. There are also some more talent on that team, and also that's going to be a big game because it possibly could be Deuce Night, right? And then Mississippi State, we know how that works out. They're getting better as a team. You got to go to Starkville with the Cowbells and all that. That's a tough environment. And Neyland Stadium is the loudest stadium in the country. Like, I know it doesn't translate. The fans don't translate to the field until you get an offensive lineman who reportedly has a hearing problem.
That's how we can't use it. We can't use it anymore. He's not on the team.
Boy, here we go.
He's not on the team anymore. We can't use it.
I'm just saying, man, like it like you can it can, it can trickle down to the field in some ways. And like that road schedule alone is going to put this in the top 10 of schedules. Unless you're saying that Tennessee's not that good, and Ole Miss is not that good, and Alabama's not that good, and Arkansas, Mississippi State's not that good.
It's going to be tough because of the location and the team.
Which one is it? Because of the location or the team? Because it's different. But see, that's my point. How can we say it's tough because the team?
They have Auburn on it. Okay, what are they saying? Is that going to be a tough game when they come to Auburn?
I don't.
Oh no, that's our problem.
I don't think they use that. I think they use home field and coaching and what you have retained. But I think those three are probably the main three.
The question I got in is how many, let's say it's a point scale 1 to 10, and Auburn has been so garbage for the past 5 years. How many points do you get going on the road playing at Auburn? Like how many points is that tough game going to be playing at Jordan Hare?
At least 3. But
none of these teams have been Auburn though. None of these teams have had 4 years or 5 years of just okay. But Mississippi State is getting better. We're showing no signs of getting better. They're a better team. Mississippi State was a better team. I would say significantly better team last year than they were the year before. And I'm almost on track with saying they're going to be a better team this year than they are last year. Their trajectory is going up. Our trajectory as a team, people don't look at us as a home field environment because for the past 5 years we've been wetting the bed. That's not the case for these other teams. It's not.
Even though they hate coming to play in Jordan here.
Last 5 years, Jordan has been money.
The question that Ed was asking was, are we saying that because of the environment, or are we saying that because of the team that's gonna have to get on the field and play? Because if me looking at the potential depth chart of these teams, I'm looking at Auburn and saying, yo, Auburn has the edge, is what they have.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying. So if we playing the game on the field, and I'm looking at depth chart, potential depth chart to their potential depth chart, offensive defense wise to Auburn's offensive defense wise, I'm saying you getting Byron Brown, you getting Keyshawn Singleton, Jeremiah Coger, Chaz Nimrod, you getting Jonathan Eccles, you getting Cole Best, Cole Skinner, you getting Joseph Simmons, you getting Jack Lyer, you getting all of these guys that have played a lot of snaps in college football, and not to mention you got 4 running backs in the backfield that were RB1s at all of their schools last year, and you looking at the defensive side on Auburn's. You looking at Auburn's defensive side of the ball, and you have Dallas Walker coming back. You got a 5-star that was in the 25 class. Another one that should have been a 5-star in Dallas Walker. You got Tavian Branch. The question that you have for Auburn is rushing off the edge because you only have Jared Smith who had playing time. But then we all know about the linebacker room, and then you got 2 guys that have played a lot of snaps in college football at the corner position, and it's just depth in the safety room. I'm looking at that, and I'm seeing Tennessee don't know who their quarterback gonna be. We don't know if Joey Aguilar. We don't know if Joey Aguilar gonna be back.
Yep. But check this out. They didn't know who their quarterback was going to be last year. They had no idea. They left them high and dry. They got a quarterback in Joey Aguilar that nobody thought was going to do well.
Aguilar, but the thing about it is, Joey Aguilar played 2 full seasons of college football. He had a lot of snaps. He had a lot of reps in college football.
But
that's true. The dude behind him right now has not had that.
The point I'm making about the Joey Aguilar thing is like one of the reasons I'm so high on Bruce Brown. Byron Brown. I don't know why I said Bruce Brown.
Not the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, Bruce Bowen. But Byron Brown is because the system is really, really quarterback friendly. So I don't doubt that they can get another quarterback in Tennessee and still put together a high-powered offense.
But to your point, you are correct. Joey Aguilar played 2 full seasons of college football though, as a starter.
True.
I give you that. The dude that's behind him right now, I don't think he's played more than 10 snaps of college football. The dude that's backing him up.
Well, I mean, he gonna be throwing it behind the line of scrimmage a lot. So
that is kind of fun. That's funny. That's hilarious. That is funny. Fellas, man,
I think it's a lot of credit given to the SEC because it's just the SEC, the stadiums. There's tough places to play elsewhere. Iowa's a tough place to play.
It ain't too many that's worse than the SEC though.
Oregon.
Exactly.
Okay, you can name one. I can name Death Valley. Which one was worse?
Wisconsin. Where they do the jump around.
Texas A&M.
But that ain't a tough place to play. They just got a cool third quarter celebration.
It's loud, bro. It's loud.
Penn State.
Tennessee or Florida.
Tennessee is the loudest stadium in the country.
So by default, you're gonna win that one, of course.
Michigan, Notre Dame, USC,
exactly.
Auburn, Alabama.
I mean, we just
Michigan isn't loud though because it's so spread out.
Not.
How the stadium is,
really
it's not that bad of an environment. It's just a bunch of people.
But it is a destination in college football.
Oklahoma.
The same thing. The same way they be saying about Tennessee.
It doesn't have to be about the loudness either. I think in high school, back when I was playing, Fayette County, small county, tough place to play. Not a big stadium.
Yeah.
But it was tough. They hadn't lost a home game in years. It was a tough place to play at. Same thing with Smith Station.
Yeah.
I had a
Yeah.
guy who coached at one of my best friends, coached at JD at Jefferson Davis. They hated going to Smith Station because it was tough to play there. Because as soon as you get there, you fighting the fans and the refs.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Yeah.
So
Yeah, solid point.
Man, this has been a great
Really?
conversation, man. We talked about coaching in the SEC. We talked about does the SEC still have the best coaches, and we kind of talked Cam Newton as well, and we talked Auburn's schedule a little bit. But I want y'all to be back for Friday show, man. We're gonna put together Auburn's offensive side of the ball. We're gonna do a depth chart. I want everybody to go ahead and try to read up on who I know I've been doing this for the long. I've been doing this for a couple of weeks now. But go ahead and read up on who Auburn brought in and who Auburn has. I want us to put together who we think Water Cooler Talk sports style should be the 2D. We'll do a 2D. We'll do a 2D roster. Is what we'll
Well,
do.
I got a hot take at running back.
Save it until Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Save it until Friday. Is what we'll do. All right. So we'll do it. We're gonna do a 2D. It's gonna be interactive. We're gonna be moving around. We're gonna be
getting interactive.
We are going to Water Cooler Talk Sports football field to do it.
we're not doing a 2D on the play caller this year.
Nah, that's Joel Gordon.
Oh, okay.
Joel Gordon. He the play caller. Shout out to Hickman, man. I saw Hickman in the chat. The Hickman boys. I saw him in the chat. What's up, my guy? Shout out to you, my guy. I saw Hallbone in the chat as well. What's up, Hallbone, man? Phil Will jumped in here and rock with us as well. What up? Feeling myself. Will, what's up, my guy? Hope you're feeling good as well. King Richard, man. We already said what's up to King Richard, man. Shout out to King. I had a great talk with King Richard yesterday. Shout out to King Richard, man. Y'all some big things coming. King Richard. Got some big things coming, King Richard. All right, man. It's gonna be dope. Man. Yeah, man. This has been a great show, man. We're gonna end it off there, man. Hour 30 minutes, hour and a half. We took up too much of your time on a Wednesday night. Is Huggy still in here? Huggy, you still here?
Yeah, I'm still with you, bro.
Dang,
Oh, yeah, he's
Huggy just been quiet. I was like, what's up? Huggy, what you want to say to the people before we get out of here, man?
No, I was just listening to the great talking points, bro.
Oh, what you want to say to the people before we get out of here, Huggy? I low key, I forgot Huggy was on because he didn't chime in. I was like, all right, I guess.
Yeah, he ain't
Huggy don't care where he play at. It don't matter.
What you gotta say to the people before we get up out of here, Huggy?
Nothing of any importance other than shout out Auburn dad for life, Toolmane, and my country cousin Wade.
Shout out to him, man. And what you gotta say to people before we get up out of here, man?
Y'all know what my motto is. Just win, baby.
Stole that.
That's all we need.
This motto is stolen, man. You gotta make up one. Make it your own, man. You can't steal somebody else's motto, bro. Like,
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Hey, that man. You know what? We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about
that off air.
Your motto is to infinity and beyond.
We're gonna talk about that off air now.
Ted, what you guys say to people before we get up out of here, my guy?
One large step for man, one giant step leap for mankind.
Hey, we don't own that. That's all I'm saying. We don't own that. All rights reserved to the people that own that. That's all it is.
My motto is stole somebody's motto.
That's all we do. All rights reserved to those people that own it.
Man. Check me out at it's SEC season, man. Tomorrow, guys, got a new thing happening. It's gonna be amazing. You tune in to SEC season at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time on Thursday. You'll see me tomorrow on your lunchtime. We're going live for lunchtime with a new segment or show that we like to call SEC season lunch breaks. So
it is.
It should be fun.
You're getting SEC season on Tuesdays and you're getting SEC season on Thursdays. Your lunchtime. What is lunch break or lunch rush? Lunch break?
It's lunch breaks.
Lunch breaks.
LAUNCHBRAKES.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all tune in to that. What I got Ted's at is SEC season. 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be rocking with our guy Tez. Mr. 21, can you do something for me? What you gotta say to the people before we get up out of here, my guy?
Losers up. That's all I got. Stick together.
We appreciate it so much, man. Do me a favor, man. Make sure you go subscribe to these YouTube channels on YouTube at its SC season. I got Tez, man, at Tight Sports Alabama Football Megacast. I got DC Wolf over at Auburn_Addicts TV. I got Dustin over at the Uptempo Podcast, man. Be Sharp over at Sharpshooter Sports Talk. Vanny Chris over at the Go to Brew Podcast and at the Anchor Down Live Podcast on Facebook. At the Huggy Beard himself on Twitter and on YouTube. I got Edward. Shout out to Edward, man. At Kid Country on YouTube. And of course, 2371 Highway 14 of Toggleville, Alabama. Adelines. Make sure y'all go check them. Closed on Sundays and Mondays. So make sure y'all go and check him out over there as well. And of course, the legend himself, Bubba and the Old Man, Auburn Sports Talk on YouTube. JMHO Sports Talk with I got Coach Sean, On the Block Sports with Coach Carr, and of course, I got Dylan over at the College Loop as well. Go support the people that support Water Cooler Talk Sports. I got DJ. Follow him on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Hollywood_media. That's Hollywood with an EY. And follow him on Facebook at Hollywood Media with 2 A's. Hollywood. Mess with the people that mess with Water Cooler Talk Sports, man. We appreciate y'all so much, man. Also, man, follow us on our social medias.
Shout out DJ.
Shout out DJ. Shout out DJ. Follow us on our social medias at CoolerSpot23 on Twitter, at the Water Cooler Talk on Instagram and TikTok, and of course, at the Water Cooler Talk Podcast on Facebook. And of course, man, if you want to, please go check out the written work on our website, www.watercoolertalksports.com, for all of your college football, SEC football, and of course, Auburn football news in written form, man. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. If you want to support the channel financially, $5.99 a month to join the Coolest Cubes gang, man. Recur every month, man. Member-only content is coming soon. You support the channel as well. So, man, be on the lookout for that. We're going to start ramping that up within the next couple of weeks with the member-only thing, member-only content. So, please check that out as well, man. We appreciate y'all so much, man, for rocking with us here. I know a lot of people, somebody asked about why haven't they seen any pre-recorded videos from me this week. I took a break. I'll be back. We'll start back next week. That's just the honest to God answer. And plus school, I got some schoolwork that I'm trying to get, some papers that I have to get finished soon within the next couple of weeks. So try to get most of that done this week. But yeah, it is what it is, man. We appreciate y'all so much as well for rocking with us, man. We'll be back Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. We'll be back around the water cooler rocking with us as always. You all have a good one. Better yet, y'all have a great one, man. Y'all be blessed. Make sure y'all give the man upstairs above his, because he deserves all the praise and all the glory. Yes, he does, man. Make sure y'all do that. Until Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Back around the water cooler. Ladies and gentlemen, it is one love. Guess what, man? We out this mug. We appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us, man. Y'all be easy. We'll see you.
This has been a presentation of Water Cooler Talk Sports.